What is going on, guys? This is Daniel, and today we're going to talk about Luke Kennard, the 12th overall pick by the Pistons in this year's draft. He's a 6'6" wing from Duke, and I was interested in seeing how he fared in Summer League. Let's get to it. Let's start with offense, and Kennard spends a bunch of time off the ball, and he thrives in this role as he's a shooter. He shot 47% from 3 in Summer League, and at the very least, he'll be a nice floor spacer in the NBA. Because of his jump shot, defenders aggressively close out on him, and this is to his benefit. So here you see a defender fly and fall for the pump fake because Kennard's shot is so well respected, and Kennard can take the controlled one dribble pull up. This time he takes one dribble to the side for an open 3, and it would be interesting if he could hit that shot on a consistent basis. Kennard doesn't have great burst or a quick first step, but when he's attacking off the catch, he can be dangerous because defenders have to close out on him hard, and here he goes and hits the righty runner. He mostly takes the pull-up jumpers, floaters, and runners because even if he can get all the way to the basket, his finishing isn't good. He's not explosive, and you can see how awkward he is here as he tries to get up a shot in traffic. Even though Kennard won't be dunking over people, that doesn't take away from the fact he's a good spot-up player. And what ties it all together is his solid passing, so here he attacks a closeout and makes a good pass. In terms of moving without the ball, Kennard isn't some dangerous cutter, but he does move to the right spots, and here on the baseline drive, he gets to the corner and then pump fakes and hits a 3. He projects as a good spot-up player, and now let's talk about Kennard coming off of screens. And when the defender goes over the screen, which occurs here, Kennard likes to curl it, and here he hits the one dribble pull-up. The same thing happens here. Kennard comes off the screen, curls it, and here he opts for the righty floater, and he's quite ambidextrous. A lot of his NBA success will come down to how well his craft translates in situations like these. He attacks, and he's smart. He doesn't try to challenge two defenders at the rim, so he pivots and hits the fadeaway, and that's the type of play that's key for him. That's important, but at the end of the day, Kennard is a shooter, and he needs to be able to come off screens and hit threes. And it's easy when the defender makes a mistake and shoots the gap. Kennard can flare it out and get the open shot, which is what happens here. The question is, can he be like Kyle Korver and come off these screens where the defender trails him and goes over the screen and quickly get off a good look? This is what made Korver a scoring threat and not just a floor spacer, and from what I know at Duke and from what I saw at Summer League, Kennard didn't do too much of this. I did see this once with 8 seconds left in overtime. Kennard comes off a pin down, and with his body moving, he gets off a 3 and nails it, and that's the type of shot that will make him big bucks. Now let's talk about the pick and roll, where I'm not too optimistic. He doesn't have the burst to attack the big man one-on-one, and this is an example where he has that one-on-one situation, tries to attack, and ends up turning it over. So instead of attacking the big man, he'll often resort to inefficient shots, such as this one, where he takes a step back fadeaway. But this is where his off-the-dribble craft comes into play, which was part of the reason he was drafted in the lottery. So here, the big man will come to hedge, and what Kennard will do is hit him with a hesitation move that freezes the big man, and he finishes off the play with a sweet dime. Notice how the hesitation works. The big man's responsibility is to hedge and then recover to the popping Ellenson. So the hesitation buys Kennard time, clears out the big man, and that frees up the lane to drive. That being said, Kennard's decision making was questionable at times, particularly when he got to the middle. Here when he drives, the right play should be the kick out pass to Ellenson, but instead he forces up a bad shot in traffic. And on this next play, he'll use the pick and roll toward the middle, and the game is moving a bit too fast for him, and he turns it over. Another ball screen toward the middle, and a defender stunts at Kennard at the nail, and instead of seeing if the defender will commit, Kennard immediately picks up his dribble, and this isn't a bad play, it just demonstrates the growth Kennard will have to make. All that is nice, and we'll see how well his craft translates. I think it may be a struggle, but again, the jumper is the most important part. Can he come off of that pick and roll and hit the pull-up three enough to make the defense have to trap, which opens up different passes? Only time will tell. Also, what limits his potential as a scorer is he does not project to be a good player to attack switches. So the pick and roll is switched here and Kennard gets a big man on him, and you can see he can't really drive by the big man and he ends up turning it over. There are different ways to attack switches other than a one-on-one isolation, but if he's going to have to rely on making shots like these versus a switch, that's not good. Let's move on to transition, where most of the same stuff applies. He's best off shooting threes, and here he comfortably takes the pull-up three in transition. There's nothing wrong with attacking the basket in transition, but you can see on this play, his lack of explosiveness is clear as he gets blocked at the rim. This is Kennard's offensive game in a nutshell. He has a one-on-one opportunity to attack in transition, and on the bright side, he plays within himself and takes the pull-up jumper. On the downside, he just took a pull-up two in transition because he couldn't drive by his man one-on-one. Not great. This play shows why at the moment Kennard is a solid but not great passer. In transition he catches it, and he has Moreland streaking toward the basket, but Kennard takes a dribble. And then when he tries to make the pass, a defender is bearing down on Moreland, and when Moreland catches it, he travels. If Kennard got rid of it right away, it may have been a dunk. When talking about Kennard's defense, the first thing you have to start off with is that he will be guarding the opposing team's weakest offensive wing. That'll be the case in the NBA, and it was the case in Summer League, and therefore he wasn't tested too much on the ball, unfortunately. But here's one scenario where the Pistons are going to hedge the pick and roll, but Kennard allows the defender to beat him away from the screen, and this gives up the kick-out three. This time, he'll be beat with a crossover move, though at least he didn't allow the drive toward the middle. While his quickness isn't great, and that will limit him, it's not like he got exposed on defense in Summer League, and here he does a nice job of sliding his feet and forcing a tough shot. There was more to take away from his off-ball defense, which was a mixed bag, and here's a poor rotation as he doesn't drop low to prevent the dump-off pass. Kennard also strayed too far from his man a couple times. On the drive here, Moreland is in perfect position to rotate and protect the rim, but Kennard for some reason comes from the strong side off of a corner shooter. On the other hand, he made some nice rotations as well. Here he rotates from the weak side to protect the basket a bit. This is superb anticipation. There's a baseline drive, and Kennard reads the kick-out pass and gets the steal. And on this play, he does do a nice job of dropping low to prevent that dump-off pass to the big man. But no matter how smart Kennard becomes on defense, he'll always be limited by his physical tools. He's not athletic, he has a 6'5" wingspan, so here he goes for the chase down block, and he just has no chance, while other wings may be able to get that block. But in Summer League, he still showed he can make plays with his instincts. In transition, he'll anticipate and get the steal here, and on the next play, he again gets a steal. The bottom line is, Kennard is a great shooter who struggles to score at the rim and defend due to his physical tools. At worst, he'll be an okay bench shooter, but he can be more than that. If he can hit the tough jumpers I talked about in this video efficiently and become a competent defender because of his smarts, he could be a nice starter. Thanks for watching. It'll be interesting to monitor his development in the NBA, and I'll see you next time.